Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Tracy, for the introduction. I think it's a great time and place for me to follow up, particularly when the minister makes an announcement, record announcement of $7.8 million in livestock and forage research. Last year, the minister did, rather on July 30th, made an announcement of $10 million investment in the Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence, so which was on top of what he announced today. Mary also mentioned a few things, so I think I'm going to seek her help as I move along on this presentation. So, okay. I think before I get on the presentation, just a little background on that. Number of industry leaders and groups were of the opinion that Saskatchewan is not fully utilizing its livestock and forage resources, including the R&D infrastructure, intellectual capacity, industry strength, and so on. So in order to look into the aspects of the livestock and forage sectors, the minister formed the Livestock and Forage Steering Committee in April of 2014. That's when the formal process started. And the process was led by the minister's formed steering committee, which has the membership of Jim Bessinger, Associate Vice President at the University of Saskatchewan as co-chair, then Mary Buer, she earlier spoke here, and Doug Freeman, who is the Dean of Western College of Vet Medicine. The industry members of the committee are Aaron Ivey, co-chair, and he's here. Tim Olekson is also present here, Murray McGillivray, Janice Bruno, Chad McPherson. I believe all of them are here this morning. Then later on, Michael Spratt, Ryder Lee, and Andrea Brocklebank from the BCRC were added to the committee. I also represent the ministry on the committee. The committee's mandate was to review the research, training, outreach capacity, and needs to identify the gaps and to provide recommendation on course of actions that would enhance research productivity and training capacity in a meaningful and cost-effective manner to grow the Saskatchewan's livestock sector. So that was the mandate. With that mandate in mind, committee worked over 9 months and came up with a few of the recommendations which were presented to the stakeholders on January 20th, 2015. Committee noted a lack of integration activity was the major limiting factor in taking the full advantage of existing livestock and forages infrastructure and research capacity in the province. Committee made a number of recommendations, including the integration of existing strength at the UFS in the College of Agriculture and Bioresources, Western College of Vet Medicine, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Western Beef Development Center. In general, the concept and the proposed approach received a strong support by the wide range of stakeholders. The report was submitted to the minister on March 20th, 2015. Minister expected the recommendation, including the establishment of the Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence. The vision for the Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence is to be a livestock and forage center of excellence as a collaborative initiative. I repeat, it's a collaborative initiative integrating livestock and forage research and development resources for efficient and effective facilitation of internationally recognized education, research, and extension. The Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence will be a global leader in innovation, promoting increased profitability and sustainability for the livestock and forage industry. So that's the vision of the center. The minister provided also further direction to the committee that continue with the next phase, which is mainly develop a comprehensive plan for the Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence, what it's going to cost, and lead the fundraising initiatives. Bottom line is make it happen. Moving on, the total anticipated cost of the center is $25 million. As I mentioned earlier, on July 30th, 2015, the announcement of $10 million in Growing Forward 2 funding from the Ministry and Agriculture Agri-Food Canada was made. University also committed $10 million and the land at the Clavet site. Saskatchewan Cattlemen Association committed $1 million. Currently, SCA has applied to the Canadian Agriculture Adaptation Program for an additional $4 million to make it up $25 million, the estimated cost for the center. So what is the Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence? It's a unique research, teaching, outreach, and industry training hub, which will be uniting agriculture and veterinary researcher, producer, industry, government, and academia. It's the world's first where number of groups, academic, disciplines, industry, agree to work together to advance the objectives and goals of the industry. The concept is unique. I mean, as I mentioned before, it's based on 2 locations. One is at Beef Cattle Research and Teaching Unit near Clavet. The other one is Forage and Cow-Calf Research and Training Unit at Western College of Vet Medicine's existing farm near Flora. These are still moving pieces. I mean, that's what the understanding. So we are still working on the location of at least the Livestock and Forage Research and Training Unit, Forage and Cow-Calf Research and Teaching Unit at Western College of Medicine. So there's still discussion going on that one. In addition, as the beginning of this year, Dorothy Morrell was recruited as the project director. So she is on a job for about maybe less than 3 weeks. I mean, it is a very ambitious initiative. As I said, it's the world's first. But the good thing is it is aligned with the university's perspective and also meshes with their Vision 2057's process. It will involve the translocation of Western Beef Development Center facilities, herd, and staff at Termundi to the new Center of Excellence. It will move the existing beef feedlot on main campus to be relocated at the Clavet site. It needs to secure additional lands and funds. And the construction of facilities need to be completed by March 31st, 2018. That's the deadline for the Growing Forward 2 agreement. So just to providing you a little more detail, the Beef Cattle Research and Teaching Unit at about 1,500 to 2,000 head capacity. It's located about 7 kilometers south of Clavet site. I mean, it will have laboratory sample preparation, storage, metabolic barn for intensive feeding trials, office space for staff and researchers, space for public outreach and teaching, and will include the facilities for feed and forage storage and processing, manure collections, and so on, and environmental work as well. It will be in a close proximity to forage research land. It has been through the conceptual design. As I understand as of now that tenders will be issued, I said it's March, somewhere in the spring of this year. That's what my understanding is, Mary. Yeah, okay. Just few drawings. You may not see all the details, but other things on these drawings because I borrowed them from Associate Engineering. So this is what the site plan looked like for the BCRTU. We are calling it BCRTU, but actually it's a Livestock and Forage Center of Excellence. That's another facility plan for the Clavet site. And that's a conceptual design, and that's what we know as of today. So I'm pretty sure that these are almost to the point where this facility is final. When it comes to the floral site, which will be 500 head capacity, but it will be Center for Cow-Calf Nutrition and Health Research, similar to the BCRTU, and would include calving barn and other research facilities which are required. So those details are mostly done, but there might be a few fine-tuning which need to happen. Design for this facility is still in conceptual and development stage. The location is being considered, but it still needs some more discussion. The bottom line is functions of both locations are integrated to ensure that it runs as a livestock and forage center of excellence and not an individual site. Again, that's the initial facility layout for the floral site. So what are the expected benefits? We will have the increased efficiency in management of facilities. It's consolidated and integrated infrastructure to enhance cross-disciplinary and collaborative research. Industry, academia, federal, provincial governments are working collaboratively. There will be a reduced travel distance for UFS researcher and students. Research, teaching, technology transfer, and demonstration all within one integrated initiative. Again, I mean, these are the drawings which I took from associate engineering that tells you a little bit about where the two facilities are going to be. So one is at the Clavet and other is at the floral site. As I mentioned before, that we are still having some discussion on the finalization where the COCAF research unit is going to be. So what is next? We still have to raise $4 million. There is a need for additional lands for grazing trials. We do have the land, but I think when the Land Use Planning Committee met and they realized and recognized that we don't have enough land for doing the grazing and cow-calf research trials, so there is a need for additional land. Location of the floral facility, finalization of construction design plans, tendering, and finalization of the governance model for the center, and integration of Western Beef Development Center, BCRQ, and Western College of Vet Medicine facilities and functions into one. Lastly, completion by March 31st, 2018. I ran through pretty quickly through the presentation because I knew there will be questions from the floor, and I will try to answer those questions. If not, I have lots of help in this room. I may direct my questions to Aaron, to you, or the producer members of the steering committee. So floor is open. Tracy, if anybody like to make any comment or questions, and I will leave it there. Thanks.